welcome to 40K Amateur Hour. We are going to do a Codex preview. We have some more special guests again. We have Alan, who is Wild Chevy 1.
Wild 1 Chevy.
Wild 1 Chevy.
Spell it right.
Or just Wild Chevy on the internet.
Wild Chevy on the internet. We have D from Endzone, our local gaming store that we absolutely admire and love.
Is he
D,
Wild,
not the store.
Wild Ford?
Wild
on the internet?
Yeah.
Wild Chevy?
I don't know.
He could be Wild
He's
Dodge.
just wild on the internet.
Yeah.
D's gone wild.
To access my site, you need a credit
We
card
have
number.
Chad and Riko from the 40K Amateur Hour. So we are going to do a codex of Grey Knights. It's one of the newer codexes that have come out recently. So they've changed it up. We have Alan here because Alan is an old Grey Knight Codex player and a new Grey Knight Codex player. So you're going to tell us the goods, the bads, the ups, the downs, the changes, and everything new. So turning the time over to you.
All right. So, Grey Knights. Big thing about it, this iteration, is that it's just Grey Knights. Before, they did have the option to have Inquisitors,
Assassins.
And assassins.
Now it's just Grey Knights by themselves.
But you do have the ebook for the official Sassanorium and whatever it is,
And the Inquisition.
Data
So,
slates. Yep.
taken out data slates that have been removed. So
So they're just by themselves now. So that means they have to play by themselves. Well, they don't play by themselves. I mean, with the new allies chart, you can ally them battle brother with everybody.
That's the big question. They have to play by themselves, but do they play well with others?
Of course, they take the lead. Everybody else follows.
Sure, there you go. First main question: all around better or worse than the old Codex?
Better in regards to points. Grey Knights have always been an expensive army to field on the. Before they were always very price heavy, so you'd always be outmanned, no matter what army you played. It's still the fact. It's still the fact now, but they've gotten a lot of point reductions to make them a lot easier to manage.
Awesome.
I was teasing Alan earlier about one of the first times when I first got into this game, I played against Alan, and I'm like, deploy your forces. No, all of your forces. No, get. That's all? Yeah, they were pretty. They're pretty sparse. It didn't take a lot of army to play that army.
They're like the Swiss Army knife of. Well, because every squad has to do everything. They have to be. They're great in melee. They have to be great in shooting, and they have to be great at taking over objectives. And
Is it the case of when one size fits all, they don't excel at anything at all?
it's very hard to tailor them to be like speed freaks or to go fluff wise. It's very hard to tailor.
So you just sort of build a list that takes on all colors and
Yep.
go with it. Okay.
So one thing I noticed when I was playing a lot of the other Grey Knight players before was that Terminators were the theme because you had the Paladins that were so awesome with the extra wounds. You had, and hardly anybody fielded some of the normal Grey Knight Marines. I see you have a lot of normal Grey Knight Marines and very few actual Terminators. Is that a choice, or is that because that's better now with the new Codex, or it's just point wise? What is the reason?
Points wise, I mean these are a little bit, and because they're metal, so I had mix of metal and plastic knights here. It's pretty. The thing is that with Grey Knights, troops are Terminators are troops. It's not like that in any other codex. That's why you saw a lot of people do Terminator heavy armies, because they were troops. They were scoring.
You had some staying power.
Yeah.
But they were expensive.
Expensive.
A lot of points. Okay. All right. Let's talk about it. Tell us some points, some new things, some good, bad.
What do you see?
All right. First things first is we have the new codex spread out, so you have the war gear on one page. The new thing this time around is all weapons are standard price. Before they were different squads had discounts. Some had more expensive options.
So the same weapon would cost different between different
So
squads?
the halberd here would cost 5 points on a strike squad and 2 points in a purifier squad.
So now it's standardized.
Now it's standardized.
Makes sense.
So is it average standardized, or do they go with the higher or lower?
So the halberd here is 2 points.
That's not bad.
The falchions, which is the 2-sword option, is 4 points. The warding stave, which I don't have one out, well, be on the librarian here. It's 5 points. It has gone through. I'll go through the changes later. And then the demon hammer is 10 points. Now, one thing you do, you can take demon hammers, which are like thunder hammers, but there's no storm shield other than Drago. So having that beat stick unit is not prevalent here. Next we come to special weapons. We have the incinerator, which is your flamer template. You have your silencer, which is your mass shots, which is right here somewhere. And then you have the psy cannon. And those have gotten different points cheaper. 5 points for the incinerator, 10 points for the silencer, 15 points for the psy cannon. And then for terminators, they do have a little, their points are different on special weapons. Incinerator is 10 points, silencer is 15, and the psy cannon is 20, which is about standard as what they were before.
But they say they have the same stats as the cheaper ones.
Correct.
Okay.
Special issue war gear, it's same as before. They do have some relics this time around. And then dreadnoughts have the same loadout as before, and then your vehicles have the same loadout as basic Marines.
So not a lot has changed in the Codex, just everything got more point-wise affordable to put on the board.
Yes.
Are there any new figurines or models for this army?
Nope.
Nothing at all.
Not at all. And they've
Wow, that surprises me.
done the way of GW, where if they don't have a model for it,
They did
there's
with
no
it.
rules for it. So, onto the.
So did they get rid of somebody?
They got rid of Mordrak, who was the guy with the Ghost Knights.
That's embarrassing.
Telephone!
It's not the fact that his phone rang in the middle of it. It's the fact that his ringtone is embarrassing.
Yeah, you know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, my bad. We'll edit that.
No, don't edit that. That's great footage right there. That's reality TV.
Yeah. Mordrak and his Ghost Knights are gone. He's still in the fluff. He's over the Imperial Navy, or the Inquisition Navy now, but he's no longer a unit on the ground. Justicar Thawne, which was, he was like the sisters special lady never dying.
Oh, Celestian?
Celestian.
Or that not, or yeah.
He was a Justicar for Terminators.
He's done.
He's gone. And then like all the Inquisition guys are gone.
Not gone, just moved over to my forces.
For HQs, you have your Brother Captain and Grandmaster. These have gotten a little bit, well, the Brother Captain got cheaper in points, Grandmaster got more expensive.
Oh, wow.
These are your HQ Psyker units. You can have the Mastery Level 1 for the Brother Captain, Mastery Level 2 for the Grandmaster. And they can take the whole load out of psychic powers.
So I hear this is a Psychic Lever's Force with the new Psychic rules.
Yep.
They're like rolling massive amounts of dice.
Every unit is a Psyker, including the vehicles.
They all have a Brotherhood of Psyker.
Brotherhood of Psyker.
Wow.
Awesome.
So it's kind of like IG can spam the flashlights, they can spam the
Psychic
Psyker
dice.
dice.
So it makes it real great on the on a defensive turn when you have somebody with one Psyker.
And you're trying to deny
like,
their...
You're like, oh, you're gonna cast that? All right, I've got 6 dice here.
Deny.
Deny. And since a Brotherhood, it's deny on 5+. And if you take the hood, I think it drops it down again.
Because he can intercept it and take it on himself, right? Yeah.
So a Brotherhood of Psyker unit can deny on a 5. Good to know.
I believe so. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments below.
I'm gonna look it up.
Brother Captain Stern is one of the named heroes. He's still in the book. You have your cheap Brother Champion, just a regular looking dude. He's still in the book. Suicide Crow. He's in the book still. He's gotten some points. Points about the same. The rules completely changed up. I call him Suicide Crow because before he was a lone guy. He was And he's not an independent character, so he couldn't join the
Oh, he
squad.
couldn't. So he was.
He was all by himself, and then if he got assaulted, the army or whoever assaulted him got more attacks.
So he was a sniper target waiting to happen, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
So that's why I call him Suicide Crow. You put him out in the field and you buried him. But now he is an IC, and they got rid of his debuff, so he can join.
He's a legitimate HQ option now.
Worth taking,
Yeah.
maybe, for 175 points.
Yep.
Better be worth something.
He's got his he's a 2+, 4+, because he's wearing artificer armor and he's got the iron halo. He's got the sword stances because he's a brother captain, so he can gain the smash rule, or he can re-roll all failed saves.
So whether he stands like this or like this affects what he does.
Nice visual, thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
Wow.
Appreciate
None of my dudes do that. I'm jealous.
Librarian. Same as before. Points are a little bit different. Not much to say. I mean, but he's a librarian in Terminator armor.
And level of.
He's got a level 2. He can become a level 3.
So make sure you get all of your library books in on time because the librarian is nasty.
But still, he's a psycher in an army of psychers, so that kind of makes him not such a big deal.
He's a level 3.
Okay, he's level 3.
That's 3 more dice.
But that's a psycher amongst a lot of psychers.
That's like saying that's an orc amongst orcs.
Exactly.
Can you ever have enough orcs?
The difference there is that your regular Grey Knights, their powers, they can have banishment and hammer hand, whereas the psyker and like the brother captains, they can do Sanctic, divination, pyromancy, telekinesis, and telepathy.
They've got the range, the choices. Nice.
So they get any of their own special psychic abilities?
The Sanctics.
Sanctics.
So everything that's Sanctic and Force for everybody. Tech Marine is a lot different this time around. He's still a basic Tech Marine, but you can take him in an HQ unit without adding it to your HQ slot.
So he's one of those freebie HQ guys.
Yeah.
So he won't count as your HQ, your warlord. He just,
Unless you take him as just by himself.
You can't take him by himself as a wolf.
That's what I was curious.
And that is a great looking model too.
And then that's it and then back to the troops, which is really easy because there's only two troop choice options. You have your strike squads, which have gotten a little bit more in price, but just a couple of points.
Well, the points cost went up in them, huh? Wow.
They have the same rules as before. They did lose one of the psychic powers because of the change up in the psychic phase.
So they're 110 points for how many of them?
For 5 guys.
5. Yeah, it's
Not cheap.
not real cheap, but
And then you have your Terminator squad. These guys got a huge point reduction. Before they were 200 points for 5 guys, now they're at 165.
165 for 5? That is cheap.
And they're troop, so
no troop.
they're scoring as well. Next, we are onto our elites. Purifier squads got a little bit more pricey this time around. They did lose because of the change with 7th edition on the second powers. Before they had the power where, as you got into assault, you would roll you'd roll a dice for everyone assaulting you on a 4+ to take a wound, which is great for mobs.
Yeah.
Now it's a Nova with and then all their they can choose to have all their stuff have the soul burn ability.
So he does ongoing damage.
Ongoing damage, yep. And then the Paladins. These got a little bit cheaper as well. They're 165 points for the Paladins now. These are your two wound Terminators.
So they're uber Terminators. Now, what's a Paladin squad point-wise compared to a normal Terminator squad?
Same
Same
points.
price.
But they have more wounds.
They have more wounds.
But they're elites.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're not
They're
troops.
not.
They're
That's true.
So it's great in
Unbound?
Unbound or even Bound. They're still scoring, but they do lose that if a troop.
But it's contesting the objective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have our rhinos. Or not rhinos.
Dreadnoughts.
Dreadnoughts.
Rhinos are there. Dreadnoughts are there.
Dreadnoughts pretty much the same. One of the things that was lost was psi ammo. Is no longer in the book. Psi ammo gave +1 to
Strength.
+1 strength to bolters or flamers.
Auto grenades.
Anything was a bolter.
Yeah.
A bolter type.
So they did lose that for the whole army. So before we had the psi rifle dread, that was twin linked, strength 8 AP4. Could sit in the backfield and just shoot and try to
Nasty gun platform sitting in the back of the board.
Now he's not so powerful. Rhinos are cheaper now. Before they were 55 points. Now they're 35. More in line with regular.
Comparable with everybody else.
Pretty much everything is the same as a regular rhino, except they are psychers.
Psycher
Psycher
rhinos!
At least now with the new explosion rules, rhinos are coming back because they aren't instantly popped on round 1 like they
That's
used
fast.
to be.
Razorbacks, same as before.
I like Razorbacks.
Any special options or just typical loadout like everybody else
Typical
enjoys?
loadout.
I like the Wizard of Oz.
And then you have your interceptor squad.
I like the Tin Man.
Your interceptors, these are the guys that have the teleport, personal teleporters. They can shunt 30 inches.
Got the antennas on their backs?
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that whole shunt thing. He was explaining it. It's awesome.
They not much overall change on them, but with the standardized equipment cost, that's where you see the change. Before, taking an incinerator was 20 points. Now it's 10.
So they start on the board and shunt 30 inches.
Yes,
But that counts as a deep strike without deviation in a sense.
correct. And you
Awesome
can do it only
sauce.
once per turn. It counts them as a jump pack, so they can also deep strike as well.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
And the word shunt is so cool. It's a good word. It's fun to say. Shunt.
So
They're shunt all over the board.
those are the guys that are great for that last turn capture.
Just jump 30 inches.
Just jump 30 inches.
You're racing to the objective and yeah, you get there, huh?
And I mean, they have the Hammer of Wrath rule as well.
So you land, bam, boom, it's yours. That's pretty sweet.
Storm Raven gunship. It's pretty much now just like everybody else.
It used to be just Grey Knights and
Blood
Blood
Angels.
Angels. Now all Marines can
It's
take
a
it.
flying toaster for everybody.
And I still like it.
They lost their special missiles, which before missile would hit, as long as it hit a psyker, it caused the perils of the warp.
Nice.
But they lost that now.
So they used to be like the kind of demon hunting army and psyker type thing. Have they kind of lost that? Is that just fluff or is it still?
They've lost it. They all have psych out grenades, which helps first turn when they assault. They have banishment, which helps with demons.
Okay.
And everybody has preferred enemy demon.
Because I remember they were pretty good fighting those things, and everybody else. Nobody saw that. And everybody else, they were just like okay. I mean, they were good, but they were okay. So they more rounded out to fight other armies now
Yes.
as well. That's good.
All the weapons are all the close combat weapons are AP3.
Oh.
So,
I think slicing through that power armor.
so across the board, you can take out Marines
Marines.
pretty easy on the assault.
That's good.
Purgation squad. These were your this is your heavy squad.
Like your devastators kind of thing?
Yep.
Okay.
And same as before, you could take four guys with special weapons. The one they did lose their psychic power, where the psychic power before is they could shoot. They didn't need line of sight. But if you didn't have line of sight, it was gave them somebody a 4+ cover save.
So the bullets would shoot around corners.
Yep.
Wow.
But they'd open a warp rift and shoot through it.
Ah, that makes more sense.
But they lost that. But no biggie, because you could still. They got a little bit more price for their 100 points. Now they're 110. But still, you can take a whole squad of them.
And the guns are cheaper though.
Guns are cheaper.
Keeps went up, guns went down.
So how many guns can you have?
4.
4 guns. And it's just a 4-man squad?
5-man squad.
5-man squad.
Yeah, the sergeant.
So it's kind of like a dev squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, the one guy who does nothing, and the other guys that shoot.
Shoot.
Nemesis, Grey Knight. got a lot cheaper this time around, and it's just a lot of it was with the points of the options. You could still just take one hammer, one sword, or one of the special weapons. He's got the Gatling silencer, the heavy incinerator option.
So if you don't load him out too heavy, he's palatable in price.
Before the personal teleporter that the interceptors had, it was 75 points. Now it's only 30 points.
Wow.
Big difference.
Big difference.
And that makes him a jump monstrous creature.
Jump, monstrous creature.
With a 30-inch shunt, and if you put the flamer on it, he's got the 12-inch flamer.
That
With
sounds
torrent,
like
right?
cheese.
You said?
Yep.
Nice.
So he jumps 30 inches, then starts a flame template 12 inches away from him.
And fries. Yeah. That's not bad.
Cheese. I want one.
Land Raiders, pretty much the same.
All three
as-
variants.
All three variants. And
But
then
they're psychers.
Psychers. Yep,
And you cannot get Psy-Flame or Psybolt for him.
correct.
Bummer.
So
The Inquisition
with
had
every
that.
vehicle, it's a Rhino, Land Raider, you get an extra die on the scything because they are a psyker.
Correct.
Psyker Land Raider.
That's awesome.
What happens when a Psyker Land Raider suffers a peril of the warp?
Just glancing hit. Or I think so.
Okay.
He's Johnny on the spot with that answer.
Well, that's what
That might be a 6-ed rule. I have to double check.
I hope there's a drawback. Otherwise, that's
I
a really
give you a
nasty.
compliment and then you immediately discredit it.
And last but not least, we have our Lord of War option,
Lord of War!
Calidor Drago.
It's awfully small for a Lord of War unit.
Yes, they've made all the special guys now Lord of Wars.
Yeah, that's cool.
So Gazgul, when the first Orc Codex came out, when the first 7 died real ones, he was a Lord of War. The Grey Knight, Drago's a Lord of War. The Space Wolf,
On the
whatever his name is,
Bad
on a
Santa?
chariot of
Bad Santa.
his floating chariot of
Bad
doom.
Santa.
He's a Lord of War. So they're making.
Everybody has Lord
Yeah.
of Wars. My big tank's not so cool anymore.
No, your big tank is so roll over.
It's still
There's
yours
that.
is a bigger Lord of War.
Size does matter.
Now, what's funny on the Codex here, Drago has like the most saves in the book. He's a Terminator, so he's got 2+, 5+. He's got Iron Halo, which is 4+, and a Storm Shield, which is 3+.
Good heck.
Does he have Feel No Pain?
No, he doesn't.
It will not die?
Nope.
But he is probably a Eternal Warrior at least, right?
Yes, he is a Eternal Warrior.
And how many wounds?
He's got 4 wounds.
4? Yeah, so he's something tough to take off the table.
His sword is a lot different this time around. Before it was like a strength 10 against demons. Now it's just all around 3+ to strength, with his strength is a strength 4.
Strength 7.
Strength 7, AP2.
Typical AP2. Okay.
So pretty much wounds on ones and
Melee Force,
anything but ones.
Melee Force, Demon Bane, and Mastercrafted.
So when you miss, you reroll. All the dice hit. Something dies.
And we have a formation.
We have 2 formations.
Ooh, formation.
The big formation here, which is your this one allows everybody with deep striking capability to come in on a 3+ first turn.
It's called what?
Rights of teleportation.
Okay. And the formation is the
This one's just called
Grey Knight Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
So everybody with the teleport or with deep strike can come in on a 3+ on the first.
First turn.
Do you roll once for the entire thing, or do you do each one?
Each one. So it's like a drop
Okay.
pod army, but a little bit different.
Is this Apocalypse formation or just a normal game formation?
Normal formation.
So what do you have to have in it?
You need a Grandmaster, Brother Captain, Brotherhood Champion, 3 Strike Squads, 3 Terminator Squads, 2 Interceptor Squads, 2 Purgation Squads, 1 Dreadnought, and 1 Dread Knight.
So it's expensive.
This is a large formation.
We're not playing an 850-point game here.
And,
Well, that would be him.
and then with this one here, you can harness warp charges on a 3+ when taking second test.
Wow.
Yikes. Alright, so that's that.
And they have another formation, which is a more stock one. It's called the Nemesis Strike Formation. You just need 1 troop, 1 HQ. And anybody with, it's the same as before, rights of teleportation, anybody with deep strike capability can come in first turn on a 3+, deep strike in, and they can run and shoot in any order.
Wow.
Nice.
First round is nasty. So if you survive first round, the game might be fun.
All right, here's a question I have: is when people come in the store and they want to start 40K, a lot of times they'll ask, "What's a good army to start with?" Is this a good beginner army to start with, or where's the advancement level, learning curve for this?
When I first started playing, Grey Knights were the army that took the hardest to learn,
Okay.
and it's still that way. For painting wise, they're the easiest army to paint. You just get some silver.
Except for
spray.
Necrons.
Necrons are the
Maybe
easiest to paint.
Necrons.
Same thing. You just take
At least
some
I-
silver spray paint and just go all over them. Grey Knights are points expensive,
Which
so
means you don't have to
So
buy
you need to buy as many.
you don't need to buy as many.
cheaper model count.
But what people do is there's a lot of options that you can take with each person.
Mhm.
They'll load out on all the special gear, and then you come on the field with only 10 guys.
Oh, we're back to the orc thing. Boys before toys.
Toys.
Make sure you have a lot of guys before you start buying upgrades.
So what weapons would you recommend on, like, most of your guys have halberds, is that, I didn't see any of the two falchions or anything, are the halberds the way to go and why?
So your regular guy's got a 4 sword. It's user strength, AP3. They're melee, force, and demon bane. And demon bane, it's see when you have force on it, all weapons can reroll failed armor 2 wound and armor penetrations against demons.
And the armor would be against things like the hell brutes and that, which are considered demons, but they're vehicles.
So before it was a weird rule. Swords added +1 to your invo save, but if you didn't have an invo save, it didn't mean anything.
So, with B's question, still kind of difficult to learn, but easier than it was before.
Yes,
Inexpensive.
Inexpensive because you don't need as many
you
models.
can field more guys.
Manual paintings.
No painting. What I tell people is, when you build your list, stack as many troops as you can first, and then as you start adding in, you have to remember, as you add in more upgrades, you have to pull out a troop.
Boys before toys.
But they do have some great toys.
What's an
Crazy.
you must have upgrade that you're talking about? If you're going to add some of the toys, what's something you have to have?
Weapons.
Weapons are good.
Special weapons.
Yeah.
So
that's
your-
how the game revolves.
Your psy cannon here,
Bandanas are nice.
We don't have any guns.
psy cannons, they're
Big 7?
strength 7, AP4 with rending.
2-4s, right?
2-4, it's a salvo weapon.
Mm-hmm.
These are great for taking out light to medium transports.
Blown up rhinos, that kind of stuff,
Yep.
right? You get these guys in the rear armor of most of your mid tanks, your transports, that kind of thing, they'll take them out.
Your incinerators, you can take them in most squads. These are great for taking out pretty much any troop. Strength 6, AP4.
So you're going to be wounded on anything but ones.
Yep.
For mostly, yeah.
And for purifiers, purgation squads, you can add more to them. Regular strike squad, you can only take 1. Purifiers can take 2. Purgation squads can take 4.
Can your tech marines have servitors like we see in other?
No,
No.
he's just by himself.
Straight tech.
So he's not that good of a mechanic then, because he has no helpers.
If you were going to pick one to start your army off HQ, because a lot of times you're not going to be fielding all 4 or 5 of them, what HQ would you pick as your first one?
I'd go with the regular brother captain.
He's your bare bones cheapest HQ, right?
Yes. And he's a Terminator, so he's got access to a lot of the powers. And then I would take a 5-man Terminator squad as your basic troop.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can fill in with everything else. Purifiers are great because they're fearless, a little bit more price heavy, but those are the guys that will get the job done in melee. Strike squads are great, just all around troops as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I saw the box set, because I bought a couple to use in my Dark Heresy role-playing game, and I was going through it. You buy a 5-man squad, you get the falchions, you get the swords, you get the halberds. Can a squad, when you equip a squad, do they all have to have the same weapon?
No.
So you can do
You can nitpick.
falchions, you can do.
And what's great about those kits is you can load up every person with the same weapon, or same melee weapon, or
one of each, huh?
one of each.
Cool.
The halberds got a little bit of a they're a little bit different this time. Before they were added to your initiative. That's just +1 strength. Your demon hammer is a regular, like a thunder hammer. It's ×2 on your strength. The nemesis warning stave got a little bit different this time. Before it was a 2+ imbo in close combat. Now it's a concussive weapon. And it's got a ward, so it gives you adamantium will.
Makes the librarian a pretty awesome guy. Especially if he's psyker level 3, huh?
Yeah.
But he's just a psyker amongst a whole
But he's just a
group of
psyker.
psychers.
I'd throw something at you, but it hurt his models.
The one thing with Grey Knights, they don't have anything that can punch big armor. They don't have melta weapons. Strength 7 is the biggest gun they have.
Unless you take the Land Raider with las cannons on it
Yeah.
or something like that.
So they're like the Clubber Lang of the Grey Knights.
So you have to have the hammers. Hammer
You have to have
yeah.
hammers if you want to take out armor. Dreadnought with the fists. These guys are meant to be in close combat. They love to be in the thick of things. And with the formation, they can be in your opponent's face first turn.
So don't sit back and shoot with them. Don't run them like Tau. Get them across the board and dice it up.
But if you're playing against Tau,
All right. What else would you need to know about these guys?
They're a great army. They're pretty fun to play.
All right. Well, if you're good with the rules, not so good with the painting, and don't want to buy a bunch of models, this might be a good idea to start with.
awesome. Thank you, Alan.
Yep, no
Thank
problem.
you, Dee. Thank you, Chad.
Thank me too.
Thank you,
All
Riko.
right.
You're welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Show off your bling before we go off there, because there it is.
Representing the Inquisition.
There you go.
You guys like, subscribe, comment below. If you have any questions, you know what to do. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you, gents.